Let me tell you something most people are too afraid to admit. Women cheat more than men, and the way they do it is far more dangerous. I know that statement alone will make many of you uncomfortable, maybe even angry, but stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you look at relationships forever. You've been taught that cheating is about sex, about physical betrayal, about someone crossing the line in a hotel room. But that's not the full truth. For women, cheating doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins in the heart, in the mind, in the silent spaces you can't see. And that's why it destroys men in ways they never saw coming. Think about it. A man cheats and it's often impulsive, detached, and obvious. A woman cheats and it's subtle, invisible, quiet. She doesn't have to leave the house to leave you. She can be sitting right beside you, smiling, laughing, playing the role of the perfect partner, while secretly giving her heart, her attention, and her emotions to someone else. That is the kind of betrayal no one prepares you for. This is why so many men feel blindsided when they discover the truth. They say, "I never saw it coming. She never complained. She never told me she was unhappy." Exactly. Because women rarely announce their exit. They replace you silently, gradually, until one day you realize she was gone long before she actually left. And if you don't understand the hidden ways women cheat, you will keep asking the wrong questions, living in the wrong illusions, and losing the people you thought would never betray you. Stay with me until the end, because I am about to expose truths you have never heard before. Let me ask you something. When you hear the word cheating, what's the first picture that comes to mind? A hotel room, a late-night text, maybe a hidden physical affair. That's the problem. We have reduced cheating to something purely physical, something obvious, something you can catch. But that's not how women cheat. That's not where it begins. Women don't start by giving away their body. They start by giving away their mind, their emotions, their attention. And that's the part no one talks about because it's invisible. It doesn't leave lipstick on a collar. It doesn't leave receipts in a wallet. It leaves a crack in the foundation of intimacy, a slow and quiet erosion that most men never notice until the entire relationship collapses. When a woman cheats emotionally, it looks innocent at first. It's the conversation she doesn't tell you about. It's the "just a friend" she mentions casually, but somehow his name keeps coming up. It's the way she suddenly spends more time online, smiling at a screen, or the way her mood changes after receiving a message. And you, as her partner, may think nothing of it. You tell yourself, "She's loyal, she's mine." But in her world, the walls of fidelity are already crumbling. Because a woman who cheats emotionally has already detached from you before she ever touches someone else. Why do women do this? Because for a woman, the real intimacy is not physical, it's emotional. Her body follows her heart. Her actions follow her feelings. If she has emotionally invested in another man, if she feels more understood, more alive, more significant in his presence, then whether she sleeps with him or not almost becomes irrelevant. Because in her mind, the betrayal has already taken place. She has already shifted her loyalty, and that shift is far more dangerous than a one-night mistake. You see, a man can cheat and still come home, still feel connected to his partner, still keep his emotions separate. It's compartmentalized. But a woman, when she cheats emotionally, it's not compartmentalized, it's consuming. She starts comparing you. She starts measuring the attention you give her against the attention someone else is giving her. She starts noticing what you lack instead of what you provide. Slowly, the man she once adored becomes invisible to her, while the man she shouldn't even be thinking about becomes the center of her emotional world. This is why emotional cheating is not only more common among women, it is more destructive. Because it doesn't just break trust, it breaks identity. Think about it. When you are with someone, you expect to be their first call when something good happens, their comfort when something bad happens, their safe place when the world gets too heavy. But when she's emotionally cheating, she doesn't run to you anymore. She runs to him. She shares her victories with him. She seeks comfort from him. And suddenly, you are no longer her man. You are just her roommate. Now, here's the psychological twist. Most women who engage in emotional cheating don't even label it as cheating. They tell themselves, it's harmless, it's just talking, it's just a connection. But connections are not harmless. Attention is not harmless. When she craves another man's attention, she is starving you of the intimacy that keeps your relationship alive. She may not cross the physical line immediately, but the betrayal is already complete. Because the moment her loyalty is divided, her love is diluted. This is where men fail to see the danger. They keep looking for physical signs, affection withdrawn, excuses to not be intimate, changes in schedule. But by the time those signs appear, the emotional betrayal is already old news. The cheating didn't begin with the body, it began with the heart. And that's what makes it so terrifying. You can stop a man from walking into a hotel, but how do you stop a woman from wandering inside her own thoughts? How do you stop her from replaying conversations, from replaying his voice in her mind, from imagining a life where he gives her what you no longer do? That's where the war is lost, inside the silent battlefield of her emotions. So let me make this brutally clear. When a woman cheats emotionally, she is halfway gone. Her body may still be in your house, but her spirit is already living in someone else's presence. And if you don't wake up to it, if you don't realize that fidelity is not just about physical boundaries, but about emotional loyalty, you will lose her without ever knowing when she slipped away. And here's the hardest truth to accept. Sometimes, the emotional cheating hurts more than the physical. Because you can forgive a mistake of the body, but how do you forgive the fact that she gave her soul to someone else before you even realized you were losing her? So stop asking, did she sleep with him? The real question is, does she still think of me first? Because if she doesn't, you're not just dealing with a flirtation, you're dealing with betrayal at its deepest level. Never forget this. A woman's true cheating begins in her emotions. Once her heart leaves, her body is only a matter of time. People often think cheating is always about love fading away. They assume a woman cheats because she no longer loves her man, because her feelings are gone, because she has lost all attachment. But that's not the truth. Love and respect are not the same thing, and here is where most men get blindsided. A woman can still love you, still care about you, still worry if you ate, if you are safe, if you are well, but she can cheat on you, not because her love is gone, but because her respect is gone. That's the brutal difference. You can love someone and still betray them. You can love someone and still feel neglected. What holds a relationship together isn't just love, it is respect, it is significance, it is the sense that the other person makes you feel alive, seen, and valued. When that part is missing, when she feels invisible in your presence, when her emotions are dismissed, when her voice doesn't matter, that's when her loyalty begins to fracture. And most women don't leave immediately. That's the part that hurts most. They don't say, I'm unhappy, I'm unfulfilled, I'm going to walk away. No, they stay. They stay in the relationship, but they start searching elsewhere for what they are starving for inside their soul. Think of it this way: a man might cheat out of greed, out of impulse, out of desire for variety. A woman cheats out of hunger, for attention, for validation, for recognition. She cheats because she feels emotionally underfed. She cheats because her man is physically present but emotionally absent. She cheats because the man who once made her feel special now takes her for granted, and another man, with just a few words, makes her feel alive again. And here's the twist: she doesn't always stop herself, because in her mind, she justifies it. She tells herself, I'm not being unfaithful, I'm just talking to someone who understands me better. But the seed has already been planted. You see, When a woman cheats, it's rarely about replacing you entirely. It's about supplementing what you stopped giving. That's why so many women live double lives without even realizing it. On one side, she stays committed to the family, to the home, to the relationship. On the other side, she quietly feeds her ego, her insecurities, her need for affirmation through someone else. And she doesn't see it as betrayal, because to her it feels like survival. She feels she needs that attention to remind herself she still matters, that she's still desirable, that she's still worthy of being admired. And here is the irony: she can still love you while doing this. She can still cook for you, laugh with you, share her life with you, while secretly letting someone else feed her significance. That's what makes female infidelity so devastating. It's not black and white. It's not a clean break. It's not always a loss of love. It's the loss of respect. And once respect is gone, loyalty slowly dies, even while affection lingers. Psychologically, women are wired for connection. Connection is the currency they thrive on. If she feels invisible in her own home but visible to a stranger, she will gravitate toward the stranger. If she feels unimportant in your arms but cherished in someone else's words, her loyalty will drift, even if her heart still carries love for you. Men often misunderstand this. They assume, if she still loves me, she won't cheat. But that's not the measure. The real measure is, does she still respect me? Does she still look at me as her priority? Does she still feel alive in my presence? Because when those answers become no, love alone won't stop betrayal. And here's what should terrify you. Women rarely cheat as a first move. They cheat as a last resort. They cheat when they have already begged silently for attention, when they have already given hints that they feel unseen, when they have already lowered their expectations and still found emptiness. By the time she opens the door for another man to validate her, it means she has already concluded, deep inside, that you are no longer capable of fulfilling that role. And once she reaches that conclusion, she doesn't argue, she doesn't fight, she quietly replaces. So don't ever confuse her staying with her being loyal. Don't mistake her love for you as proof that she won't look elsewhere. Women don't always cheat because they want someone new. They cheat because they want to feel something they stopped feeling with you. They cheat not because they stopped loving you, but because they stopped respecting you. And when respect dies, cheating becomes a symptom, not the root. Remember this: a woman can forgive many things, but she cannot thrive in invisibility. If you don't make her feel significant, she will find someone who will. And the day that happens, you won't even notice her slipping away, because she will do it with a smile on her face and love still in her heart. Never forget, love is not enough to keep a woman loyal. Respect is the anchor. When respect breaks, betrayal begins. When men are dissatisfied, you often know it. They show it. They complain, they argue, they withdraw. Sometimes they explode, sometimes they leave, but women are different. Women rarely announce dissatisfaction loudly. They don't always argue. They don't always shout. They don't always confront. Instead, they go silent. And in that silence lies the greatest danger of all. You see, when a woman is emotionally pulling away, she doesn't always create distance physically at first. She still sits at the same dinner table. She still shares the same home. She still performs the routines of a partner, smiles, nods, maybe even laughs. But what you don't see is the invisible shift happening within her. She is no longer invested. She is no longer fighting for the relationship. She is no longer offering her full self. And instead of creating noise, she creates distance quietly. That's why so many men are blindsided when they find out about infidelity. They say, "But she never complained. She never told me she was unhappy." Exactly. She didn't tell you. She didn't complain. She adapted. And while you mistook her silence for peace, it was actually resignation. By the time she reaches the stage of seeking fulfillment elsewhere, she has already made peace with the fact that she doesn't expect much from you anymore. And when a woman stops expecting, she stops investing. This is the brutal truth women replace quietly. A man may leave with drama, with confrontation, with visible detachment. A woman leaves emotionally while still being physically present. She's at dinner with you, but her mind is texting someone else. She's watching a movie with you, but her emotions are tied to someone who made her feel alive again. She's lying next to you, but her heart is somewhere else. That's why men feel the shock so strongly. It feels like betrayal came out of nowhere. But it didn't. It was happening in silence long before you noticed. And here's the psychological depth of it. Women are nurturers by nature. They give chances, they tolerate, they forgive quietly. But when a woman truly gives up, she doesn't always walk out of the door immediately. She finds comfort elsewhere first. She finds validation where it's offered freely. She finds attention where it feels effortless. And once she has that, she no longer needs to argue with you. Why would she fight for your attention when she already gets it somewhere else? That's why her silence is so dangerous. It doesn't mean peace. It means she has found an alternative. What makes this worse is how easily a man can miss the signs. You look at her and think everything is fine. She's not nagging, she's not angry, she's not demanding. But in reality, that calmness is not satisfaction, it's detachment. She has emotionally exited the relationship without ever packing her bags. That's why her betrayal feels sudden. But the truth is, she left long before she acted. Now, here's what men need to understand. When a woman replaces you emotionally, it's not because she wants to hurt you. It's because she no longer sees the point of waiting for you to step up. She has already concluded in her mind that you won't change. And once she reaches that conclusion, she doesn't announce it. She simply shifts quietly, strategically. And by the time you realize it, by the time you try to fix it, she's already invested in someone else emotionally, if not physically. This is why women's betrayal often feels colder, sharper, more final than men's. Because when she goes, she doesn't half leave. She detaches fully. She can still show you affection while being emotionally committed elsewhere. She can still love her family while secretly longing for another man. That's what makes it so terrifying. You don't see it until it's too late. So stop thinking silence means everything is fine. Stop thinking a lack of complaints means a lack of problems. Silence is not safety. Silence is withdrawal. Silence is the sound of her heart leaving before her body does. If you ignore that, you will lose her in the most painful way possible, without warning, without closure, without a fight. And here is the most haunting truth. When a man cheats, he often comes back remorseful, apologetic, sometimes even more committed. But when a woman cheats after silently replacing you, she rarely returns fully, because her cheating is not about a moment of weakness. It's about a long buildup of unmet needs. It's about a decision she made slowly, quietly, and deliberately. And once she's gone in her mind, she doesn't really come back. Never mistake her quiet for loyalty. Never mistake her silence for love. A woman who has gone silent has already spoken the loudest words you will ever hear. She just didn't use her voice to say them. And the closing truth you must carry is this: a woman's betrayal is not sudden. It is silent, it is gradual, and it is deliberate. If you don't notice the silence, you will never hear the goodbye.